Greetings, Earthlings! I have something pretty cool to show you today. This is a Canadian General Electric model AP150A air cleaner. And I have no idea when this could have been made, but if I had to guess, I would say the 1970s. I bought this at a yard sale, and I paid $5 for it, which I personally think is too much for something like this. But now, a few months later, I don't think that. I think it was a fair price, especially since the guy running the yard sale, he was a pretty old guy. I think he was in a war, I think the Vietnam War, and yeah, I gave him the $5. You gotta respect someone like that. And when I asked him how much it was and he told me, he said, "That's an ionizer." Well, it's not an ionizer, it's just an air cleaner. But I knew that. I just agreed with him. But yeah, this is in really good shape and it works perfect. You can see it has the General Electric logo there. I say 1970s because despite this being a Canadian General Electric product, it has the American General Electric logo. So that dates it to before the 1980s when the CGE logo was developed. Runs on 120 volts. And, well, I just noticed that right here. I've never seen that before. It says 8306. So this is probably from 1983. Why didn't I notice that before? It's the first time I've seen that stamped on there. So probably 1983. That's what I'll put in the title of the video. Model AP150A. 120 volts, 60 hertz, 0.19 amps. We'll measure that on the kilowatt meter. Canadian General Electric Company Limited, Barrie, Ontario. Made in Taiwan, which kind of disappoints me, but what can you do? And if we look at the bottom here, got the 4 feet that it rests on, and it comes with this funny looking thing on it. And geez, once again, why didn't I notice before? There's the CGE logo right there, so that indeed dates this thing to the 1980s. Although interesting how it's got the CGE logo there, but the American GE logo there. Whatever. But yeah, here is the filter. It's made of this really hairy, like, fiber type stuff. I have no idea what to call it. Somebody wrote a date on there. I'm not good at reading cursive, but that appears to say December 25th. So this was someone's Christmas present. It's got a place to pierce a hole in there, maybe to let the beads out. There's beads inside this filter. Maybe they were supposed to be let out of the filter before it's put into use. I don't know. I won't worry about it though. Filter was made in Hong Kong. Again, quite disappointing. But we can remove the filter by rotating it, and it pulls out. And it's got this carbon, what appears to be a carbon filter on the other side. And yeah, right there you can see the motor, C-frame motor. And yeah, I have no idea how effective this really would be as an air cleaner. But it works just fine, and I say it certainly can't hurt to use it. It's pretty darn cool looking, I'll give it that. And how it works is it sucks air through the bottom and blows it out the top. So let's turn it on and see how it works. So there it is. Not very loud at all. I'll turn it off. And there you go. For something with small plastic blades, spin down time's pretty good, so the motor probably doesn't really need oiling, but I am going to oil it anyway, so I'll turn this on one more time, and we'll look at the kilowatt meter here. Yeah, look at that, 0.19 amps, just what it says. There's our voltage. 16 watts, it's a pretty low power motor. And there's our power factor. And I can tell that the blades are pretty dusty too, so I'll clean that up too. So now let's unplug it and take this thing apart and clean it up. So how this appears to disassemble, there's a single Phillips head screw right there, and I think that's holding this entire assembly in place, so I'll remove that and see what I get. Oops, I just discovered there's 2 screws, one there and one there too, and they need a small screwdriver to fit in there, so I'll try and hunt one up and take those out. Alright, I've taken the screws out, and I think the entire housing lifts right off. Yeah. And there you go. That's what you're left with. Yeah, the fan's pretty dusty. Motor's got quite a bit of surface rust on it. I don't know if you can see there. That dark coloration, blotching, that's all surface rust. Spins really good though. It doesn't really need oiling. But I'll do it anyway. So there's what it all looks like. Kind of dusty. Oh, nice how the wire splice in there, so if you ever need the power cord, if you ever need to replace the power cord, it's certainly easy to do so. And there's the power switch there. Alright, so what I'll do next is I'll try and take these blades off. Well, an extreme amount of effort allowed the blade set to come off. I'm not kidding, I had to pull as hard as I could pull to get these off. I figured I'd actually break them before they actually came off. I didn't know if it was super glued in there or not, but no, it was just held on really well. And I see now. I see why now, because it's not keyed. It's just a perfectly round shaft with the blade set stuck on there. So yeah, these are quite dusty, so I'll soak them in the sink and wash them and everything. 2 screws allows the motor to come out, and I noticed after I got the motor out, it actually has oil ports on it. That's really sweet for both the front and the back bearings. This is the first C-frame motor I've seen with oil ports on it. You can tell this is an old motor. A modern motor certainly wouldn't have that. And you can tell there, much of the shaft is exposed, which is an interesting design. But normally on a C-frame motor, what I do is, there's 4 screws on a C-frame motor holding the bearing, you know, these parts that have the bearings on. 2 screws there, and then on the back, you can see 2 screws there and there. But on this motor, they're actually rivets, not screws, so even if I wanted to do that, I couldn't on this motor. But this motor actually has oil ports, so I don't need to anyway. But yeah, when on a modern motor, when you take those 4 screws out and you can slip these bearing covers off, you can slip the whole shaft out and you can oil everything. But yeah, that's how this motor was designed, is really nice. How the blade set was designed to be held on is not so nice, because it's really painful to get off. But it certainly holds it tight. So yeah, I'll give this a wash. I'll actually give this a wash too. And I would give this part of the housing a wash, but see, I can't get the motor out, because well, actually I could if I remove those 2 screws there, and those 2 screws there, or no, just 1 screw there. I can take the switch out and the power cord assembly out, and I can wash this part too. So I'll probably do that. Well, I decided to cut those wire clamps so I could remove the motor and the rest of the electrical parts, so I could wash this part of the housing. And here's the motor. Cute little motor. It's quite thin compared to C-frame motors I've seen. I just noticed this. Take a look at this. Date of manufacture, 21st of April, 1983. So there you go. And so yeah, I can't oil this motor in this video, but next time I'm at Canadian Tire, I'll get some 3-in-1 oil and I'll just squirt it in them oil ports, and this motor will be ready to go for another 31 years or more. So I'll set that aside, and I won't wash this, but I will wash this, and this, and then we'll be back. Alright, I bathed all the plastic parts. They're nice and clean now, in ship shape, ready for the fan to be put back together. I got some wire nuts to reattach the power cable, since I cut those crimp connectors off, and I'll reassemble everything. Well, there it is, all cleaned up and back together. So there you go. Yeah, I kind of like this thing. I don't know how effective it would be as an air cleaner, but as, you know, some sort of air circulator fan noise making thing, I think it's pretty cool. So there's the Canadian General Electric Model AP150A air cleaner from 1983. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.